Hey guys, welcome into Locky Top Sports. This week's podcast will be featuring me, Josh, and my boy Naveen. Uh, so we got a lot to kind of unpack this week with some exciting stuff on the baseballs front, with us being your number one ranked team in the country. So we'll dive into that first. But we also want to talk about the look ahead lines for some college football. So the way too early prognosticators are already out saying, this person and this team is going to be good. This team is going to win the SEC title. And Tennessee wasn't on the receiving end of a lot of high superlatives. So we'll kind of talk about that and see where our betting lines are going into this season, and kind of seeing the disrespect that the Vols kind of received through a lot of the talking heads. So we'll also do some fun things with the ranking the Tennessee uniforms. I mean, I was talking to Naveen earlier when we were going through like what we wanted to talk about as far as the jerseys, and it's like, man, Tennessee's almost like the Oregon of the SEC. So we'll go over our favorite uniform combos. There are plenty of them. So we'll wrap it up with NBA playoff talk. Unfortunately, we saw what happened to the T-Wolves in their latest game, but hey, we're keeping hope alive. T-Wolves are still up in the series, so we'll talk about that. And yeah, man, so we'll jump right into it. Baseballs, Naveen, were you able to catch any of the game, or were you able to see any of the highlights from last night's game against the Vandy Boys?
Yeah, man, I was able to see the highlights from the game. It seemed like a really good game and a lot of Tennessee domination. So
Yeah.
I think that's really what I'm seeing right now. Tennessee, interesting spot to be in, right? Number one in the country, not number one in the SEC East.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting for sure.
Yeah, just one of those weird situations where your conference is so stacked with quality that you could be the number one team in the country and not the number one team in the division. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, so I think things will kind of shake out, especially with the Florida Kentucky series this weekend. I think Kentucky was able to beat Florida in kind of like a shootout last night. I think it was 12-11 final score. So anytime you see 23 runs put up in a baseball game, I mean, that can be pretty entertaining. I don't know if that's more indicative of the offensive prowess of either team or just the lack of good pitching. Maybe a combination of both. But man, I do want to talk about the game in Nashville last night against the Vandy Boys. Tennessee went in, took care of business. There were some definite white knuckle moments for me while watching the game. Tennessee jumped out to a lead right off the bat.
The sixth inning you're talking about?
Yeah, we'll talk about the sixth, but the first at bat, Christian Big Simo, he comes out there and just goes yard on the third pitch. Tennessee goes up, 1-0. Then I think we score another run that inning, and we extend it to 2. Vandy comes out and scores 1 in the first inning. It's 2-1. Then we balloon it to 3-1. Then all of a sudden, it's Vandy takes the lead, and then I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? It's the 6th inning, and then things started happening, right? We had my boy Tears come up and just jack one over the monster out there. He went oppo, and then from there it was over because as soon as that happened, Tennessee took the lead. Then we had a triple, right after that, and then we just kind of poured it on, and then went up. I think it was 8-4, and then that wound up being the final score. There, so I mean, we had a lot of a big, contributions from a lot of different people last night. But regardless of the circumstances of how the game played out, we still saw Tennessee get the win against Vanderbilt last night. And I think this series always kind of takes its own kind of identity upon itself because of the hatred I mean, the visceral hatred between Tennessee and Vanderbilt, especially when it comes to baseball. We own them and everything else. And now, Tennessee, I think we've won the last 8 in a row against Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken. It's like 7 or 8, but I'm pretty sure it's, as of last night, it's 8 in a row. So couldn't happen to a better bunch of individuals. Vanderbilt tears are sometimes the tastiest to drink, especially in baseball. And it all comes down to their douchebag coach, Tim Corbin, right? He's such an unlikable guy, and he has a very punchable face. When he did what he did a couple years ago, basically accusing Tennessee of corking the bats, and then you had the whole Mike Honcho thing that came out when Tony V was on with ESPN, basically saying like, yeah. One of our players shouldn't even be enrolled here. I think he's a 35-year-old man named Mike Honcho. What is true? What is real? When they were accusing us of using the cork bats, but Tony V and the Vols always playing the villain, and I love it. Especially when you're able to go down there and put Vanderbilt out of their misery a little bit. So, and at their park. One thing that I couldn't just get past last night while watching the game was the stupid Vandy Whistler. Like, I wish someone would just end that guy already. Like, it was cool, like, for the first, I don't know, 5 minutes of his fame and notoriety. But dude, if I'm a Vanderbilt fan,
it's really annoying. It's really annoying when you're watching the game.
When you're there, it's annoying because it's ear piercing, right? And I think even Vanderbilt fans don't like the guy, but even through the television broadcast, and I was following some guys on Twitter last night. They were listening to it on the radio, and they were like, "It's 10 times worse on the radio." I mean, we use some pretty sophisticated mics doing our podcast here, and they pick up everything. I mean, you can hear my kids, when they're downstairs, wrestling or whatever, sometimes in the background of our podcast, but radio, yeah, like that sound, whatever that was. The radio mics though, they pick up literally every single, minute sound, and the Vandy guy just, piercing everybody's ears. So if we could get a cease and desist order, I mean, if Kendrick can call Tupac's people and get a cease and desist against Drake for using, Tupac's AI voice, I'm sure we could find somebody out there that's got the legal acumen to get a cease and desist order against the Vandy Whistler. What do you think?
I think that's fair. And did you know that the Vandy Whistler was originally two guys?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's a team. Jeff Pack was the guy, and then now there's Preacher Franklin is a 74-year-old from Smyrna, Tennessee. They're both from Tennessee.
Smyrna. They're from Smyrna? Oh, God. That explains a lot. No disrespect to anybody from Smyrna.
So one of them died, and now it's just Preacher Frank.
Oh man, could sweet death come again?
he whistled his last whistle last year.
Yikes.
2023. So RIP to the OG guy.
Yeah. Hey, no ill will. I don't want to wish death. Obviously, that was in jest, but my God, dude, get a different thing, get a different shtick.
Yeah, it took me back to one of the most annoying things that I've ever heard. I think this is right on par with the 2010 World Cup, the Vuvuzela in South Africa. Yeah, exactly. It's really on that level of annoyance. So I think that definitely it tilts them too. That's the worst part, right? It's not only something that affects the
opposing team.
The opposing team. It is, for everybody to be annoyed by.
Yeah. But kind of to put a bow on the baseballs, hey man, number 1 team in the country. We didn't take, to quote, famous SEC coach that will not be named, had just recently retired from the football coaching ranks. We didn't take the rat poison, and we didn't buy into the number one. We could have easily done that, and then kind of went and laid an egg down in Nashville, but we didn't do that. So shout out to the Vols. I think we're going to take the series, probably sweep the series. We got our ace, Drew Beam, probably pitching tonight, and then we'll finish them up tomorrow. But if we have performances like we had from Dylan Dreiling last night, and our boy Cannon Peebles, which I hope Cannon Peebles gets a lot more run going forward, because when he hit that 2-run homer last night, that really sealed the deal. You had tears come up, do what he did, then you had the triple, and from Dreiling, then Cannon Peebles just kind of capped it off. So you could tell it was personal last night with the Vols. It is every single time we play Vanderbilt. I mean, just last night, when we started playing the game, the last game of the season of football that I took JD and Jackson, that's my kids, that I took them to, was the Vanderbilt football game, right? And we remember vividly in this household the street fight that broke out right before halftime between the football team, and they're like, "Dad, are the baseball players going to fight like the football players?" Because Tennessee, they beat Vandy's ass, and not so many words, obviously. They were like, "You remember the fight?" I was like, "Oh, I do, guys, I do." But they were like, "Are they going to fight today?" I was like, "I don't know." But it is always a personal thing when Peabody has to play Tennessee. So anyway, man, glad to see Tennessee get the job done. And like I said, I think the series will be taken care of for sure.
Cool. Let's take a look at some look-ahead lines for the college football season. I think that we can see here a little bit of what they have predicted for the early games and throughout the rest of the season. We have 5 games here. Tennessee, North Carolina State, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Florida at Tennessee, Alabama at Tennessee, where, we might go to some of these games. Tennessee.
We will definitely be at a lot of those games, specifically, if you look there in the middle part, that Oklahoma, Florida, Bama, that will be 3 of the games that me and you will definitely be at, with some of the other members of the Locky Top crew. The Bama game will be showcased as part of a bachelor party. So we will be in rare form for the Alabama game. I hope we make it.
Yep.
So Airbnbs will be booked, tickets will be purchased. Hopefully our sad bag of bones will be able to make it into the stadium after all the extracurricular activities that we have planned for our favorite eligible bachelor, about to be, ineligible for life here coming up, Roman, also known as the Michigan Man. So shout out to him for, locking in with the old ball and chain and getting married this fall. Marriage is great. I'm ribbing you a little bit. Marriage is great. So, but we're going to send him out the right way. But to these lines, man, not really as a Tennessee fan. And, I'm trying to take my orange colored glasses off, but I'm like, how in the hell do you come in and say, oh, right off the rip, Oklahoma, Tennessee should be an underdog there, right? Like, they're replacing a lot of people. They got questions at quarterback. Their favorite angelic quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, will not be back under center this year. So they're doing a lot of replacing down there. They're just not somebody that strikes a lot of fear in my heart. And then you got the whole piece with Josh Heupel. He's going to be out for revenge. It's Oklahoma. Yeah, man. It's the Hyper Bowl. Absolutely. So, and we're OG in the SEC, right? Like there's got to be something that we got to take down there that from a personal standpoint, it's like just based off the damn principle of everything. It's like we're not going to let these new guys just come in here and beat us. I don't care if we have to go down to Oklahoma or not.
Yeah.
If you thought those tornadoes that ripped through there the last couple of weeks did some damage, Tennessee's going to come in there. It's going to be a Tennessee twister whooping that ass for Boomer Sooner. You can mark that down. That 4-point spread doesn't faze me. I would say Tennessee probably should be a double-digit favorite on the road at Oklahoma. I think Josh Heupel is going to do everything that he can to light it up because he's going to take that game personal. And I think as a program, we should too, because we owe those guys a lot. Just go back to 2015 Oklahoma. 2015 Oklahoma, the whole Butch Jones debacle that was, you had Jalen Hurd, Josh Dobbs there on the 1 yard line. That was your first game in Neyland, right?
Yeah, that was my first game in Neyland. I saw Baker Mayfield in double OT rip my heart out. And I that's when I was baptized as a Tennessee fan. I first experienced extreme heartache at that game. And shit, man, like, I think you're exactly right. Like, I think maybe, I won't necessarily go double-digit favorite on the road, but I think the wrong team is favored for sure. I would say.
Why are you hesitant to not say that Joshy Boy could put up at least a 10-point dub over Oklahoma? Like 10 points for me, like that doesn't. I'm not saying we're going to go in there and crush them, 42-7 or something like that. But I could definitely see a 38-28 game play out. I think Tennessee win.
I think this will be Nico's first road big test, right? So I'm just a little cautious there. That's why I won't go double digits.
Well, let's talk about Nico for a minute, right? So, there's some Heisman odds that were released, and I think they put Nico at like plus 1750 to win the Heisman or some ridiculous number like that. Let me tell you guys something right now. And I know anybody, especially like an opposing team, they would be like, "Oh, this Tennessee homer, look at him. He's doing the same thing they did about Joe Milton last year." But I'll tell you what, I was probably the most realist Tennessee fan when it came to Joe Milton. I never sold anybody the snake oil that was being sold by the insider, so to speak, for Tennessee football about, Joe Milton, he could throw a football, a country mile. He's the reincarnation of Uncle Rico, right? Like none of that did anything for me. And I mean, you can vouch for me. Who was Joe Milton's biggest critic?
You were, man. And
me.
Honestly, that doesn't really win you football games, right? Like, okay,
correct.
Throwing far and having arm strength, that matters some, but what matters more is accuracy.
Absolutely. But I would argue, go back and look at Nico's performances, in the little bit of time that he had game reps wise throughout the season. But then you go and look at that bowl game. Iowa's defense, you can say what you want about their offensive woes and how Tennessee did what they were supposed to do on our end. But all we heard about was how stout Iowa's defense was. And then you saw what Nico did. He wasn't no slouch. He was ready for the moment to, start the Citrus Bowl. It's a bowl game. It's a neutral site, so it's not really a true road game. But, for his first start, it wasn't at home. He had all the detractors in the media saying, "Oh man, he's got to face an elite defense from the Hawkeyes. They were good in Big Ten, blah, 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 blah." But he went out and performed, and I would say when you compare the two, when I look at it, out of Tennessee's last three quarterbacks, with Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, and Nico, is he more like Joe, or is he more like Hendon Hooker, right? I would say it's probably more like Hendon Hooker. And I think that you talked about it when we looked at the orange and white game, right? When you were talking about the fluidity of his passing game, his decision-making. His decision-making is much better than we saw from Joe last year. And he has that finesse. He has that escapability. And at the end of the day, quarterback is going to win you football games in this league more often than not. And I think that's where Tennessee has the advantage. I'm not wearing orange tinted glasses, man. I'm being completely fair in my diagnosis of how I feel like this season's going to play out for us. And yeah, man, Oklahoma definitely going to be a dub. And I definitely could see it being one of those 38-28s. I don't think the moment is too big for Nico. And I think it kind of goes back to the psychology of it. The moment can't be too big for a kid that is the highest paid NIL quarterback in the SEC. You're the $8 million man. All of the things that would have applied pressure on someone's psychology has already been applied to this young man. There's nothing that he's going to face, like going to an opposing stadium, that's going to be greater than probably the pressure that he's already put on himself and that's already been put on him by being the $8 million man. Like, I mean, would you agree to that or not?
I think, yes, there's parts of that I agree to, but I kind of understand why they're doing this line the way they are. They're trying to attract both sides of the country here. Like, I think that, you know, they're trying to attract people to say, okay, like, is this a trap? Is Oklahoma, you know, just better because, you know, they believe that Jackson Arnold is better than Nico. I think, you know, it could be that Jackson Arnold is a good quarterback. I doubt it compared to Nico. Just what I've seen was really good. And I think that he makes decisions very quickly, which is very rare for a young quarterback. And that's what I hope going forward. Like, believe me, I hope that this game is, you know, Tennessee blowout. I think realistically, you know, Tennessee wins by about a touchdown. And I hope that, you know, we'll have the great Hawaiian hope in Nico.
The Polynesian Peyton, baby.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man, you know, you bring up Oklahoma's quarterback. Is he getting paid $8 million to be there?
Nah.
Exactly. There's a reason why. And you can say Tennessee does stupid things. I mean, we hired like 3 of the worst coaches that you could ever hire in a row. We've thrown money away on frivolous things in the past. You know, so we don't have a lot of leverage and a great track record to kind of, you know, pontificate high above and say, oh, well, you know, we're paying this kid $8 million because we know his value. We know that there's no better quarterback out there. But I would say that Danny White's not let me down yet. Josh Heupel, I'm not going to say he's not let me down. I do have a lot of faith in Josh, but sometimes his loyalty gets in his way. Look at Joe Milton. The whole situation. I mean, he basically flushed the season last year by trying to get Joe Milton drafted in the 6th round by the Patriots. Shout out to him. He got his boy drafted. But anyway, so I think Tennessee's leadership, especially on the football front, we've been really prudent when we've made big time decisions like that. And you know, I trust in Nico until I'm proved wrong. But we'll go to the next line that I really want to highlight, and it's really special for you, Naveen. That the Florida Gator line, baby. The reason why I bring that up is because we all know that Naveen has notoriously talked about this throughout the saga of the Locky Top Sports podcast, that he will definitely disown and no longer support Tennessee football if we lose to Florida this year. You know, I don't much blame him. I mean, Naveen, you're a kid from New Jersey that, you know, vicariously started, you know, loving Tennessee through a bunch of, you know, masochist college football fans that are your best friends. And so you jumped on the bandwagon, and it's been heartbreak after heartbreak when it comes to the Gators, except, you know, maybe once or twice, you know, sprinkled in there. I think 16 and 22 is the only 2 times that you've seen. You've been a Tennessee fan since what, 2015? That Oklahoma game, that was your baptism, right? So we're coming up on your decade as a Vol fan, and you've seen Florida beat us, eight or seven times, seven out of those 9 opportunities. So yeah, we got to start swinging the pendulum back the other way. But you see that spread there. I think that's Tennessee plus or Tennessee minus 11.
Right.
Give me your thoughts about that? Do we run the Gators out of Knoxville this year? And tell me why, if that's what you think is going to happen.
Okay, so let's start with last year. There was
Joe Milton is what happened last year.
There was no fucking reason.
And Kamal had missing a tackle.
We lost to fucking Florida.
No reason at all.
I think that one pissed me off more than any of the other ones. 22 handled it. We ended up winning by not so much because Richardson came back in the end. Whatever. At least we're playing it.
Hey man, Ricky Pearsall was playing his ass off that game.
Ricky Pearsall was playing his ass off. But at least you're losing, or you're competing against like NFL players, right? Graham Mertz will be selling car insurance in 2026. There's no fucking reason why we can't stomp them. So let's just get the job done. I don't think there's a reason why this shouldn't be 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, Sunbelt Billy, man, come on.
He's terrible. We need to end him. Let's get everybody fired.
Bury him.
Just start digging. Throw him overboard in Cumberland River. Whatever you need to do. There's no reason why this should be even close. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about a shit team, dude. Florida is fucking shit. So let's treat them like they are.
Exactly. Put those Gators back in the swamp, and like Credence and Clearwater always used to say, "Proud Mary, just keep on burning and rolling down the river." Let's go on down the Tennessee River to the next game. And why I bring up the Tennessee River is because, hey man, we got some goalposts that are still hanging out down in the bottom, just dwelling there for eternity after what we did to the Crimson Tide the last time they visited Knox County in the unfriendly, borderline dangerous confines of Neyland Stadium. Man, this will be a huge game for Tennessee for, I think a lot of reasons. Obviously we kind of broke the Bama curse, so to speak, when we beat them. I think we again, if we didn't have Joe Milton doing Joe Milton things last year, we had him on the ropes in Tuscaloosa last year.
We had Joe Montana first half and Joe Milton second half.
Exactly, right? So there could be arguments made that we should have done what we did in 22 last year down in T-Town, but I don't want to be a Tennessee fan. It's like shoulda, woulda, coulda. We didn't, right? So we have a new opportunity with a new regime. So you got Bama coming in. I don't know that they're going to be the same Bama that we've seen under Nick Saban. I really don't think that that's what it's going to be with Kellen DeBoer at the helm. So we got some Dakota boys, going at it with Josh and Kellen DeBoer. And I think there's going to be some points that are put up, obviously. Bama's Bama. They're still going to have, the athletes, but they have had a lot of people transfer out. And I would like to see like kind of how it plays out. I think that it will do something to the psychology a little bit. I think of teams when they're not looking over at that other sideline and seeing Nick Saban, hate him all you want, but guy was probably the GOAT when it comes to college football coaches. And you don't have to look on the other side and say, man, I'm competing against the greatest of all time. This guy over there looks like he's a little bit more human. and probably have a little bit more shot to take down the Crimson Tide. So you see that line there? I think, what is it? -2 for Alabama. I think you're muted. Yeah, there you go. -2 there, Naveen. What are your thoughts? Me, I think Tennessee's going to run away with this. I think we're going to pile on a little bit if we can, because I think we have the horses. I think we have the continuity, and I think Bama will probably be in a transition year under Kellen DeBoer. And man, the ingredients are right. Do you agree with that? Do you think the ingredients are right? And Tennessee has a good chance of getting the dub, or are you going to go oppo on me here?
I think it's an absolute must to either win the Oklahoma game or the Bama game, right?
I think it's a must to get both of them. Yeah.
Okay. So with the new 12-team playoff, right? We should win the Oklahoma game and have like a decent, very good road win, assuming Oklahoma does well versus other teams. Now, talking about Bama, there's nothing really that scares me about Bama this year with all the losses they've taken in the transfer portal. I think they lost at the O-line, they lost on D-line. I mean, obviously it's Bama, so they have new 5-stars coming in.
Secondary, losses
secondary.
There. So
Caleb Downs is out. That's a huge one, right? He's at Ohio State.
Yep.
So, I mean, there shouldn't be that much that Bama brings that we're not ready for. Like last year, we were crushing them in the first half, with the full strength squad.
Absolutely.
And Nick Saban, right?
Yep.
What we've done is we've replaced Joe Milton with a better decision maker and a better quarterback. So I think we have the tools to beat Bama.
I think so too, man. And our defense has gotten a lot better. We've done some good things in the portal. Our defense if our defense is just top 20, if our defense is top 20, and Tennessee is going to be almost damn near unstoppable. I mean, you look at what Josh has on the offensive side of the ball. Dude, like, it's a matchup nightmare for anybody on our schedule. And to include that line that's underneath the Tennessee Bama line, the Bulldogs, right? I will say, Tennessee with Georgia, we got to shake that bug at some point. I think this year's probably a good opportunity to do that. Carson Beck doesn't impress me all that much. They don't have, McConkey. They don't have, the tight end. What's his name again? Brock Bowers. Yeah. They don't have all that coming back. Now, defensively, I think Georgia's still going to Georgia, on the defensive side of the ball. They've got some good players on that side, but the thing that I'm going to look forward to the most when we really talk about these lines, and this is I guess my biggest concern and probably my biggest point on this topic before we move on is, we've seen Josh Heupel here for 3 years. We've seen him on the road. Outside of LSU, what significant road win has Josh Heupel been able to produce?
0, man.
And you could talk about that. You could talk about that overtime win against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wasn't really that good that year,
right?
So,
yeah, I think realistically we lose this game versus Georgia, but 11-1 in the SEC will get you into the 12-team playoff for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're asking me, Josh, right now. And I think you probably do the same. But I'll ask you the question here. If they were to say, okay, guys, 11-1, but your one loss is to Georgia, and it's 17 and it's a 17-point loss on the road in Athens. I think you're signing up for that right now.
Yeah. Easy.
Because I think the 17.5 line definitely is indicative of Josh Heupel's damn near. I'd say it's probably the most atrocious record of any SEC coach right now. It's bad, dude. Like, I don't know what it is. We just can't get right on the road. We've seen it over and over again. You know, you could point to Bama second half last year. You could point to Mizzou last year. You could point to, you know, and I know he's beaten Kentucky's in South Carolina's on the road, whatever, right? Actually, he hasn't beat South Carolina on the road. My bad. He beat him twice at home and shit the bed with the playoffs on the line. So again, indicative, I think, of Josh Heupel, Tennessee teams on the road, not good. You take away that LSU game that was played at 11 a.m., and I don't want to take anything away from that. We were both there. We had a great time.
It was sick.
It was a sick game. But a lot of things went Tennessee's way early, and they just rode that momentum. You know, Death Valley, you know, we emptied it pretty early, but you know, you look at Tennessee on the road under Josh Heupel, not great. So might be a little bit of that mixed into the lines there, but let's just face it. Josh Heupel owns Oklahoma. That's his house. We ain't going down to Norman and losing. It's just not going to happen. So, crazy lines, but you know, that's what this is, man. It's just talking season, and it will only progress as we get deeper into the summer months here. And it's almost there, man. I think we're less than 3 months out. It's about 3 months out to football season. Close to it.
Yeah, it's right around like 110 days.
110 days. Yeah, man. Yeah. Almost in the double digits. It's getting close. But yeah, man, we can go on to the next segment here. Let's talk about Tennessee uniforms. Naveen, I want you to lead us off here.
Okay.
What is your favorite and kind of go over why?
I think for the most part, I enjoy the classic orange on white pants with the checkerboard helmet. That just feels right. Feels like I'm watching a Tennessee game. I do enjoy the black mode or dark mode.
Okay.
You know, black on black, orange with a white helmet as well.
Oh, so you like the white helmet with the black stenciling on the orange power T?
Yes.
You like that better than the black helmet on the black mode or dark mode? Excuse me.
I do. I can't really explain to you. This is one of those like artistic preference things, but
it's more aesthetically pleasing to you.
Yeah, I think like, you know, full black on orange all the way down, then you're Oklahoma State. You know, this gives us back some Tennessee identity.
Little tradition there, yeah. Okay, you traditionalist, I see you. Okay.
So those are my main reads.
Okay.
What about you?
What are your thoughts about Smoky Gray?
Smoky Gray, I could leave it, man. Like, I'm not the biggest Smoky Gray fan, especially
your little buddy Jackson Ricker, man. My little son, you know, he would beg to differ. Smoky Gray is probably his favorite outfit. If he could wear his Smoky Gray #1 Tennessee fall jersey every single day, I think he would. Every opportunity he has, like, Dad, can I wear this to mass? Like, I have to tell him, son, no, you gotta wear your polo. Like I'll let him wear it sometimes to mass, but it's like he wants, you know, he has to wear his school uniform every day. But when he gets an opportunity, or when we're in the backyard, I mean, you went in the backyard, you know what the backyard here is all about as far as you know, the football playing that goes on back there. He's always in that damn Smoky Gray. And that's definitely his favorite. So he'll be sad when he listens back to Uncle Naveen's commentary on the Smoky Gray jerseys. He's gonna be like, man, Uncle Naveen, he don't know what he's talking about when it comes to the Smoky Gray. That's his favorite. But I'm with you. I could kind of leave it, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, like I like the all gray I'm just not a fan of this two-tone black and gray with the weird blackish gray
It's
helmet.
the smoky gray helmet.
Yeah,
It's kind of got like the Smoky Mountains or something on it.
I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know.
I think before there was the dark mode.
Mhm.
Like I kind of liked smoky gray.
Okay.
But when they introduced like more, I'm kind of like the Star Wars meme with Kylo Ren, where it's like more,
Mhm.
I'm kind of like him with the jerseys. I'm like, just bring me more, and then they brought more, and yeah, I'm with you. I kind of like the dark mode with the white helmets a little bit better.
Right.
I know we've worn those a few times, but my all-time favorite, man, my all-time favorite's got to be, I think it's right here, the Jawan Jennings, number 15, right there with the orange pants and the white jersey. It's just something about those orange breeches, man, and I also like the all orange. Uh,
Okay. So these
probably,
top two.
yeah, those are probably my top two there in the top two windows. I would say the biggest reason for that is because I was at the Ole Miss game in 2021, and when we were pelting the field, I wasn't. I promise. Don't ban me from kneeling. I didn't throw anything. There actually has been some fans that have been banned from coming back because they were caught on camera. It was almost like a January 6th insurrection kind of deal with I call it mustard gate. You see
The
that?
mustard
You
flag.
see that flag back there? I don't know if that's indicative of anything, but I'll digress. I don't want to get Tennessee canceled or anything. So that was probably my favorite uniform combo. Even though we know what happened in that game, we got robbed. The all orange is a favorite, but I think me and you both can share this ideology on the uniforms. Dude, there's just nothing crisper than that dang OG orange top, white bottoms. The home,
Mhm.
OG, right? So that's my favorite. What do you think, man?
I think, yeah. I think you ultimately, we talked about this. You talked about this in the preview of the show. Um, we're the Oregon of the SEC now, right?
Yep,
So we have all these options. We come out with new options. Like I feel like maybe there's 10 uniforms in a 12 game season. So, um,
absolutely.
but what reminds you of home? What reminds you of home? I think the orange and the white bottoms are that for me.
Well, and I know we didn't really discuss this when we were doing show prep, but I do want to ask you, what is your like? When we're talking about home. What is your favorite when you're looking at it? And we were talking about aesthetics earlier. What is your favorite matchup for Tennessee versus who? What really makes you just feel like, oh my God, this is the absolute zenith of college football in the South when I see these two jerseys on my television, Tennessee and who?
I think for me it's Bama. We talk about it. We preview it for like a week. Even before we had this podcast, like I can't really sleep the night before. I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, what's going to happen? What are we going to see? How are we going to hold up? Um, I genuinely get nervous. Like
Oh yeah.
I get a palpable heartbeat going. So
I get in a full blown rager, man. Like I think I probably, that's probably how I'll go out. The Lord will take me home with some mixture of uh, a stroke or a heart attack or some type of, blood clot. Just me getting absolutely amped and worked up over a Tennessee game, and it could potentially be the third Saturday in October matchup. Now, I will ask you just on the color schemes and the jersey matchups. When you talk about Bama, does it have to be?
it's got to be red.
Does it have to be crimson and orange?
Yes.
That's your go to.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. I think it's, you know, universal. Um, it's one of those games where uh, I know we're gonna go to the game this time, but I like to be alone when I'm watching this game. I like
You just
clearing
get
things
worked up.
out.
You just get so
I
worked
need to
up into the
I
thing.
need to
Yeah.
be able to pace around. I need to be able to yell at the TV. I need to throw some pillows. So I don't know. I just need my space when I'm watching this game. I feel like I'm in it sometimes, like on the
Yeah.
bench. Uh, just like, what are you doing, Josh? Oh shit. So I just like to get. I don't know. I think it separates the season from being elite to being just like, okay, this is just another regular Tennessee season. So how we perform in this game is a good bellwether for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Well, and I would say for me, it would also have to be Bama, Tennessee, and we don't get to see that crimson orange combo as much lately because the SEC rules with the way we alternate the jerseys. But I think that there should be something kind of like when we were playing them in Birmingham at the neutral site. Just let both teams wear their home colors.
Yeah.
Orange and crimson is just so oppo of each other. There's no confusion, but when you look back in the annals of rich SEC tradition, Bama and Tennessee, those games in Birmingham really stick out to me with those color schemes in the jerseys. But I would say a close second for me when I'm just fully immersed in SEC college pageantry. It would definitely be Tennessee and Georgia.
Okay.
Those two strike a lot of, man, I feel like I'm at home. I'm at my grandma's house. She just made some just fire ass biscuits and gravy, bacon. I'm eating that on Saturday morning, and I'm waiting on CBS to kick off. With I've already watched College Game Day. I've watched Laura Rutledge, Tim Tebow, and Paul on SEC Nation. I know that's for more of the newer fans. For us growing up, when I did, we didn't have that. We just had Game Day. But I will say, that evokes, those memories, those smells, those sounds. And really makes it feel like it's home again. There's nothing like an East Tennessee crisp fall day when you go outside and it's not completely like the foliage is falling. It's the leaves are that great Tennessee orange. The foliage is in full effect there in the Great Smoky Mountains, and man, it's just a good feeling. Obviously, I've not been able to. I guess really bask in that a lot over the last 14 years because of my job taking me different parts of the world. But when I do get to go home and visit my family, my in-laws, and stay with them, and we're able to go to Tennessee games, I mean that is what I love most about going back home, and I think why I'm so obsessed with it. And I would argue, and I would like to ask you too. I mean, you're a kid from New Jersey. You have really no ties to the South whatsoever outside of your relationships with me and with Andy. The big czars of Southern college football for you here. Would you've experienced some road games. You've experienced some games, obviously at Neyland. Would you what would you say really does it for you, a kid from New Jersey? What made you fall in love with not only just Tennessee but Southern college football?
I'd say the passion, number one. Right? Like in our sports in New Jersey, right? I think that we feel that way, the way you guys feel towards football, towards
Like
basketball.
NFL or NBA or
No, man, dude, towards college basketball teams around
okay,
here. I say we
St.
get
Joe's,
that
Rutgers.
that lit for those games. They're not often too good. Like we'll have Seton Hall, St. Joe's, Rutgers, those kind of teams. MSG is the closest I feel like to a college experience,
Sure.
when the Knicks are pumping or the Rangers are pumping, it gets that level of excitement and just passion. People going crazy in the streets. But you guys do that every Saturday for your team. So I'm that type of person and that type of personality. I like going crazy for something I really love. So I think that that's what draws me to it. I would also say it's kind of similar to how English Premier League soccer fans are. I experienced that live.
Yeah.
I think that's the closest thing we have in our internationally to what's happening here. But man, like I don't know, the NFL, it just doesn't like. I think it's a better players, better product. But man, you'll
And
never get
the shield's the shield. I get it,
yeah,
but
you'll never get the passion you do for a Jets game and for a Tennessee game. So I mean, that's clear cut.
and I think the craziest thing about it too, and we won't harp on this. I think we'll talk more about this kind of stuff throughout the summer. But I would argue, even if your team is absolutely ass, like you're destined for like a 4-win season, it doesn't matter unless you're Vanderbilt. Like every SEC school gets up for their team.
Yeah.
Like think about it. You became a Tennessee fan in 2015.
Yeah.
You think about all the things that you've had to endure as a Tennessee fan. Now, I'm sorry about that, by the way. I mean, it's not like I could do anything to fix it,
No.
right? So I don't really know why I'm apologizing, but I guess because I was part of the people that brought you into this. But I would say you think about all that, but it never changed. It never changed the feeling of excitement and the passion. And you were talking about it. You don't even have to be there because you know like you're at your house. You can feel the energy through the broadcast.
Yeah. It
Right.
transfers, whatever, 1,500 miles. We have a great New York, Tennessee bar, Printers Alley. So we get some Tennessee alums around that
Shout
really
out Printers Alley. It is really cool up there.
It is awesome. They have a great environment. Andy goes there quite often for Tennessee basketball and also Tennessee football. I'm sure if we weren't going to this bachelor party, he'd be there. I'd probably be there too. But yeah, like there's something that transfers between alumni and the team, and the main thing is that it never leaves, right? Like it's not like okay, like all right, I was a fan of this team while I was there, and then okay, I'm a casual afterwards. It's just it goes and goes and goes up and to the right, forever. So
unless they lose to Florida this year, right?
Oh, I don't want to keep talking about that because, like, I don't know.
It's not gonna happen. We're not gonna be Gator bait this year. We're gonna exercise some demons, and I really think we're gonna swing the pendulum back in Tennessee's direction, and I really hope so because I don't want to be in a position to where when the SEC does their scheduling, we're in a rut like we are with Missouri this year. We don't get a chance to pay them back for what happened last year because they're not on the schedule. But I am also glad that the SEC did not rob me of my two biggest rivals, Florida and Alabama. So we'll see how the scheduling goes on in the future. But yeah, back to this, shout out to the OG orange and white tops.
All right, we'll kind of close our show with NBA playoffs. As some people know, I'm a diehard 25-year-long Minnesota Timberwolves fan. Yeah,
let's go T-Wolves.
I wish you had the machine gun one because that's how I feel. I just got shot out. God damn, they punched me in the heart last night. Laid a dud versus Jokic and the Nuggets. Kind of felt it coming a little bit in the sense that they're way too good of a team to get swept.
Yeah,
they're really fucking good.
But they did just,
yeah.
Right. Just walked up to you like American Gangster, like they were Denzel, and just shot you right in the face in broad daylight on the street.
Yeah, man. I feel like I felt after winning the SEC regular season in basketball, and then showing up to the SEC tournament and laying a massive brick against
man.
Mississippi State. That's exactly the same feeling I feel now. Josh, what are your thoughts on what you saw last night?
Well, when we got on to do a little bit of show prep this morning, I laid out my condolences for the T-Wolves. The last time we were talking about the T-Wolves, I was super lit on what was going down. I mean, they stormed out to an early 2-0 lead. Now it's a little bit of a series again. I think last night kind of had to happen after Joker won the MVP.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of like sports Illuminati. Kind of had something to do with that. With Cat and your boy, AE coming out and being like, yeah, I really wasn't up for the game. Like, you guys better stop fucking around. Okay. Yeah. Like that cannot be a soundbite that comes out of your best players. That just can't. The T-Wolves have been a bottom dweller in the NBA forever, as you know. They've never won an NBA championship. The closest they've ever been is when they had Kevin Garnett. That's been the better part of 20 years, right?
Yep.
So you have to, when the olive branch from the basketball gods are being extended down to you, and they're saying, take it. You got to grab them and you got to take it, and you got to, I'll steal a game maxim from Tennessee. When the game isn't going your way, or the breaks aren't going your way, you need to put on more steam, man. And the T-Wolves, it was going their way, and then they let off. But now you got to put on more steam. So I just, for the life of me, if I'm a T-Wolves fan, very upset with the comments and the low energy. And it was kind of embarrassing, right? Come out flat like that after storming out to 2-0. I mean, your expectation level raises, right? You're just like, oh yeah,
you're coming home. You're coming home.
Exactly.
Lay their egg like this. I mean, you did the difficult job of crushing them in their building at altitude.
Yeah. You said, fuck the altitude, fuck ball arena. We're going to empty it. It's going to be, the T-Wolves arena for the series. And here we are. We're staring 2-1 in the face. And if they don't go 3-1, man, how are you feeling?
If they don't go 3-1, they're losing this series. I can tell you that.
So you think that Joker and the Nugs are going to make a valiant comeback if they tie the series 2-2?
Yeah. Yes. They'll have all the momentum.
Now, is that your pessimism? Is that your battered T-Wolf syndrome coming out? Or
no, man?
Is that really truly you think based in reality?
Those are the facts of life, man. I think you can't give a team that good of a team that much of a momentum shift late in the series. You can't do it. So that's really what it comes down to. I think that if we want to be the team that I know we can be, we absolutely have to win on Sunday. No doubt about it. And then we're back in control.
So we go up 3-1. I'm saying we, because now I'm claiming the T-Wolves. So we go up 3-1. You think it's going to be air horn time again, and we're going to close it out? You think we go and win at 4-1 if we go up 3-1?
Yes. I do think that's what's going to happen. We're going to either lose in 6 or win in 5. I think that's how it's going to be. There's not going to be this flip-flopping. I think, attitude-wise, That's how it's going to go. This is an all momentum team. This is all about defense. And really, we got cooked last night.
Yeah.
We did not bring the same intensity.
It was rough, man. It was rough to watch. I won't
Yeah.
lie.
It was, T-Wolves fan, we got a lot of these terms. One of them I like is Law and Order. Play on Law and Order. Nikhil Alexander Walker.
I saw that. I saw the
I like that, dude. Like if these guys, like when they were grinning ear to ear, guarding on defense,
Yeah.
that's when you know you're about to get fucked up. So
Yeah.
So they didn't
Fair
bring
enough.
that. Really low energy. I mean, the shooting, it'll fix itself, right? These guys are
We
NBA
hope.
players.
We hope. Yeah.
I believe that it's possible that we fix itself, but what you are in control of every game is your defense.
Your defense. Absolutely.
Right?
Your
Just like
effort.
Tennessee, right? If you bring the same level of defense every game, you have a chance versus anybody. And I do think that, again, if we win this series, there's nothing stopping us from winning the whole team. If you look around the league, Boston laid a fucking massive egg versus the Cavs. How do you not sweep the Cavs? I don't know.
I was talking to my buddy Brian. We went to lunch yesterday, and we were like, "How in the fuck did Boston lose to Cleveland?" Like you think about how great of a team in the East, like Boston has been, and you think of all the players that they've had over the last 7 or 8 seasons. Like, how has Boston not won a championship?
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of frauds over there. Obviously, Thunder, Mavs, that's gonna go 7. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's tough. They're gonna be beat down. I want to be rested. I want to be
yeah,
at the crib, chilling at the crib, because like we were at the crib for a week and we locked in.
yeah.
So we
Exactly.
know that that's possible. But now,
you got a lot of time to watch film, scout, do all those things, look at the tendencies,
right.
install what if you have to do any of those things. And they didn't do themselves any favors last night for sure.
Yeah, man. I think really Sunday is the series.
Yeah. Well, Naveen, I think that's all we got for NBA playoffs. I don't think we got any best bets this week.
No, we don't.
Which that's okay.
We're just focusing on Sunday, really, honestly, guys. And for Tennessee Vols Baseball, we need to focus on Vandy.
Sweep them up.
Sweep them up. Few games left, right? Four games left after Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We got one versus Belmont, and then a series with South Carolina, and then we're in the SEC championships or SEC tournament.
Yeah.
So, we got to lock in, just like the Wolves. For Josh and myself, this has been Locky Top Sports. Go Vols,
baby.
Go Wolves.